So we're going to talk with Herb Alpert, who has sold 75 million records worldwide. Very few people in the world know that he is also an artist and a sculptor. He's been sculpting for 35 years. It's an honor to get to meet you. It's an inspiration. You've been anointed by the president with the National Arts Medal. You're kind of declared a legend by the BBC, and you've just been doing all kinds of creative things ever since you're a little kid. What actually motivates you?
I'm like 85% in the right side of my brain, and I've always been that way, so I love to play the trumpet. I started playing when I was 8. I like to paint and sculpt, and I spend most of my day doing just that.
So when you say the right side, what's the difference?
Well, it's the creative side. It's the side that doesn't really think real hard. I'm not an intellectual. I just kind of I like to do creative things.
But you have that other side going too.
I have a little bit of the other side, but I need it. I call on it when I was, the A of A&M Records. I would have some, decisions to make, but for the most part, I enjoy the other side.
Well, it shows in your work and all the accomplishments you've done over the years. Now, these totems, when did you start painting? I mean, you abstract. I guess that the totems were an extension from the abstract work.
Well, yes, I started painting about 45 years ago. And then sculpting maybe 4 years ago. These totems didn't start until like 19, my wife actually has it's about 20 years ago I started the totems. I took a trip to Vancouver, BC, and was really struck by the incredible wooden carved totems by the Pacific Northwest Indians, the indigenous people of that particular time. And I got inspired by that, and I went home and I started sculpting something that was kind of symbolic. It was a little too symbolic. I felt it was like trying to maybe feed off of what I saw there. And then all of a sudden I felt like, that's not exactly what I want to do. I want to just riff on it. I want to be like a jazz man. I want the freedom. I think that's what we're all looking for when it comes to the arts, whether it's acting, sculpting, painting, poetry. It's all about freedom. You want to be free to be able to be yourself and express yourself, as best you can. And try not to judge it, because I had an experience in the 60s when I was playing in Europe, and I was playing it in Rome. I went through the Sistine Chapel, and when I left there, I was thinking to myself, who in the hell needs to see anything of mine? I mean, this Michelangelo was on another planet.
Right.
And if you try to judge yourself based on other artists, then you don't accomplish anything. All you try to do is, I think, get up to your own water level and leave it at that.
So it's about being non-judgmental.
Yeah.
Now these 3 totems that are going to go up in the park on January 25th and be up there for 3 months, those sound really interesting. Grace, freedom, and gratitude. Is that the third?
Right. Well, actually, gratitude leads it off. It's going to be the one that's right in front. They're 17 to 18 footers, and I think freedom is the key word. I mean, I think that's what we're all looking for. I think that's what the people in the Middle East are looking for. I think we all want to be free. We all want to be in charge of our own destiny, and be responsible for others as well. But the freedom part of it is the part that really that ignites me. I mean, that's why I have spent a lot of time with the Herb Alpert Foundation, trying to help kids explore their own creativity.
You're very generous too. About what you did with Harlem. You made the $6 million donation to the Harlem School of the Arts. I mean, they wouldn't have survived without you.
I think to live a meaningful life, you have to serve others as well. I mean, it's a win-win for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. It's phenomenal what you were able to do for them.
Well, I think we all should be able to give back to some degree. When I first started the Herb Alpert Foundation around 1982, one of my concepts was, if I can do it, you can do it. Tag, you're it. So I don't know how much effect that has had, but that was my motivation.
Well, it affects the people that get it, and the others don't.
Exactly right. Yeah, some people get it and some people don't. And that's what art is all about. It's like you can stand in. I use this example, and I think it's pretty accurate. If you're walking down the beach with 10 people, and you pick up like a sculpture, a piece of driftwood, and you all look at it, and everyone says, "Yeah, man, that's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful?" We all agree it's beautiful. Well, you stand in front of a sculpture, and you got 10 people seeing it for the first time. 5 people might say, "What the hell is that?" 3 people might say, "That's really something special," and 2 people might say, "That's awful. And why is it even here? It's taking up." You know what I mean? So it's all subjective stuff, and it's all good. But I think in order to appreciate art, no matter what art form it is, you have to not think, to feel it. It has to resonate. Like it's impossible to describe why you might like a Louis Armstrong solo or a Miles Davis solo. And there's nothing that you can put your finger on in terms of what is that thing that they're doing that makes me feel good. Who knows? So I think art is the same thing. If you leave your brain at the door and just stand in front of a piece, and either you're going to accept it or you're not, it's fine.
It's kind of like what Baudelaire said, that it's like allowing yourself to be a child.
Well, yeah, of course. And then Picasso said something really interesting too. He said that you take an inferior painting and put it in a museum with a bunch of good paintings, it's going to look really good. You take a great painting and put it in an inferior gallery with a lot of so-so paintings, it's going to look terrible.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now, what about you're up for your 9th Grammy Award?
How
does that feel?
Well, it's pretty interesting because the first Grammy I received was 48 years ago. And then the last Grammy I received was 38 years ago when I did Rise in 1979. So just the idea that what I did is recognized by some people is great. I'm not trying to be super cool about it, but if I win, great. If I don't, it's okay too. It caught me off guard. I didn't think it was going to happen. But I did a record several months ago called Putting on the Ritz, which was written by Irving Berlin in the 30s. And I did this really unusual arrangement of it with my nephew, Randy. And we did a music video, and I used the choreographers from So You Think You Can Dance, Napoleon and Tabitha, and they made this incredible music video, with the help of some other people as well. And so far it's had over 1 million hits on YouTube. So I think that
wow,
got a lot of momentum going for it. So
but you're the kind of innovator of music videos, aren't you?
Oh boy, back in the days, yeah, I did Scopatone and some things that were way before your time.
I'm before my time, but no one did that kind of stuff, and everyone's doing it now.
Oh yeah, everyone's doing it now, and actually I was the first artist to travel with a sound system. I mean, now you go to you can go to these Yankee Stadium and hear these extraordinary systems that the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and all those great artists that are making tons of money bring. And when I first started out with the Tijuana Brass and we were enormously popular, I played at an arena and I didn't like the sound at all. I said, we have to improve on this. So I was the first one to bring a whole crew with me because I wanted people to hear it properly.
In the rehearsal you discovered you didn't like the sound?
No, actually at the first performance we were in Fresno, and I said the people aren't hearing it the way they should be hearing it. I mean, I don't like the idea of people spending good money to not hear it properly. So it's the way it should have been. But it's been a nice ride.
If I only had 10 minutes of your time, what would you want me to know most that that think is the most valuable thing to put forward that you're doing?
To put forward would be, I think we should all be involved in in the education of our young people. I think the arts should be a core part of the educational system, public or private. I think when a kid gets to express themselves with poetry, dance, playing an instrument, whatever it happens to be, I think they get in touch with their own uniqueness, and then they have a feeling for the discipline that it takes to be good at something. And they don't have to be a professional at it. All they have to do is understand that concept, and it'll fold right over into the academics. And so it's a win-win situation. But I think it's an important ingredient. When I was given this award by President Obama, the National Arts Award, he is somebody that really, really does understand the value of the arts in our society.
And exactly the way that you just described it, too. Yeah. I want to thank Mr. Alpert for taking the time to speak with me, and I want to remind everyone to come around and see this incredible exhibition, Totems and Deities, here at ACA Galleries, 529 West 20th Street, 5th floor. It features Mr. Alpert's totem sculptures and Anita Huffington's deities. Mr. Alpert will have his gigantic totems, Grace, Freedom, and Gratitude, which will be installed in Dante Park on January 25th. They're 17 and 18 feet tall. They're magnificent, bronze with black patina. They'll be there all the way through April 25th, so you have plenty of time to get around to Dante Park, right opposite Lincoln Center, and see Mr. Alpert's magnificent, gigantic totems.